When the world began, the Lord, Tuhe, created the earth. Then the animals, mammals, fish, and birds. At that time, they were endowed with the gift of speech. One day, when Awo asked where her missing daughter was, the rice spirit, born of the sacrificed body, replied, "Here, mother, I am your child." At this precise moment, a dove took flight. Since the beginning, the Jawi have raised a dove, Burông Tité, attaching an immense magical power to it. It is believed to protect houses and people, to bring them luck, to make them rich, to ward off evil and trouble. It is an enchanted bird. A shaman, the Bomo Padomi, recounts the myth. At the origin of the golden dove is the eggshell of the bird of paradise, CNRS. This bird flies endlessly in the sky, day and night, night and day, without ever coming to rest, for it has no feet. The female hatches her eggs in mid-flight, on the back of the male. A baby bird is born who breaks the shell in two. The first half, the older one, falls to the ground and creates the snake Chitomani, yellow and thin like rice. Beneficial, it immediately coils up around the rice, making it good and edible. The second half of the shell, the younger one, falls into a tree, turning into the golden dove. The dove possesses three powers: its wonderful song, which will make you rich; its plumage, golden yellow, white, or black, which will save your life; and the number of stripes on its feet, 22, 33, or 44 stripes, which protects your house. In South Thailand, in what was once the Malaysian sultanate of Patani, birds are everywhere. Doves, of course, but also fowl, or even fighting cocks. Here in the village of Sudang, Buro is up taking care of his birds as soon as the day breaks. The Jawi have a maxim which sums up their idea of happiness. They believe that happiness depends on 5 elements. To be happy, you need 5 things. First of all, a house free from spirits. Next, an elegant and beautiful wife. Thirdly, a dove with a melodic song. Fourthly, a ring of agate. When a man wears such a ring, always on his left hand, no knife, no bullet, according to popular belief, can penetrate or pierce his flesh. Lastly, one must have a crease. The important thing for us, more than its beauty, is the quality of the blade. Good steel has power. It will protect the house and its occupants. The famous Sultanate of Patani, known for the forging of its huge cannons in the 17th century, is today split into 3 provinces: Patani, Yala, and Narathiwat. Definitively annexed by the Kingdom of Siam at the beginning of the century, its rice fields dotted with sugar palms, its mountains, its majestic rivers, still carry the memory of its past splendor. Long forgotten in South Thailand, Patani has kept its traditional culture. The majority of its inhabitants, ethnic Malays, have given themselves a name, Jawi, or inhabitant of Great Java, the Malaysian peninsula. If today their country has disappeared, their cultural creations still express their originality. For a long time, one of the biggest trading posts in Southeast Asia, Patani became a place of intermixing of the Mon, Malay, Siamese, Chinese, Indian, Arab, and European civilizations, an intermixing of which we still see the effects, for example, in the art and architecture of the wooden houses. The traditional wooden houses on stilts have begun to disappear. The inhabitants sell them as they stand because of the price of wood, extremely rare in Thailand, a country which has undergone immense deforestation. Islam came to Patani in the 14th century. Legend has it that the first Raja of Patani, Sri Wangsa, a Hindu, caught leprosy. A Muslim navigator healed him on the promise that he would convert to Islam. But this religion remained the privilege of princes, and it is only recently that it has spread to the rural populations. Their religious practices are always strongly mixed with animist and Hindu beliefs. In this society of undifferentiated relationships, and in spite of appearances, the women always hold a predominant position. But entry into the world economy, the development of satellite communications and cellular telephones, the influence of the Thai schooling system, based on the American model, and recently of a religious fundamentalism, have profoundly modified the Jawi society. Since 1990, Thailand, mainly for economic and strategic reasons, has enormously developed the south, creating numerous roads wide like motorways and planting a tight network of concrete electricity posts. Despite this apparent development, the Jawi remain largely excluded from the new prosperity, and the doves often represent one of their few riches. Every day, in the small hours while Rosia, his wife, prepares the meal, he hauls up his birds onto their listening perch. In the house, the young sister and her grandmother prepare the fish, the vegetables, and the rice, cultivated in the family rice paddy. Buro is a modest breeder of the Burông Tité, a species of singing doves. He dreams of one day winning a big competition and becoming a renowned breeder. Once or twice a week, he gives them a shower to refresh them. They adore that. He cares for these doves as he would his own daughters. After the meal, like most Jawi, who are mainly peasant folk, Boroheng goes to the paddy fields. He takes one or another dove in order to get it used to moving around and to unfamiliar surroundings, so as to prepare it for the competitions and song jousts. Today, Boroheng is very hopeful. This bird, called Seramo, has such a pretty song that he could bring back a prize from the big international competition that takes place in Yala every year. If he wins this prize, he could at last make his dream come true of creating a veritable dove stud farm. You never return empty-handed from a walk through the forests or fields. Each walk is an opportunity to bring back plants or fish, an accompanying dish for the evening meal. Boroheng has spotted something and tracks it with the stealth of years of experience. At the violent blow of the stick, the bird has not moved. It appears decidedly hardened for the competition. Burông Tité is called Nok Khao Jawa in Thai, bird of the Java forests. And it really is in the wild that one finds the birds with the most melodious songs. But wild doves are rare.
Sini malah tidak ni, anak awak. Tani ya, ayah minta dah ni.
For poor Jawi, who aspire to win competitions and become reputed breeders, they must first of all possess a male with a perfect song. As such a bird is too expensive, they try their luck in the forest with the help of snares and lures, in the form of a domesticated dove. The most common breed used is the Java dove, with a much more docile character than its wild cousin. Hajima is a reputed birdman. Above all, he is patient. This patience is rewarded. The extremely rare wild dove appears. We can catch the doves using the Burông Tité, the Java dove, as a calling bird, and by using this trap or these snares. It must be said that the forest doves have a very beautiful song. If we succeed in catching one, we take it home and raise it. If its song is pretty, the price it will fetch is very high. Hajima explains that the door of the trap shuts behind the bird who's been attracted by the calling bird. Wild dove is wary of the noose, so Hajima tries his luck again with the cage trap. The forest also harbors red ants, kengo in Jawi, a species which inspires wariness. This is why the Jawi never sit on the forest floor. They don't want to get bitten on the backside. And it is for the same reason that they carefully check the surroundings for tree ants before setting down their cages. Our birdman isn't discouraged and continues to wait with perseverance and good humor. Daily, Buro takes care of his little farm of Burông Tité. He must watch that each bird gets enough to drink and eat. From time to time, for their health, Buro gives the birds some hot spices crushed up in honey. And when their droppings aren't normal, he gives them the cure of cow dung mixed with water. The Burông Tité, or the zebra dove of the species Geopelia striata, can live for up to 40 years. Its song emerges from the age of 8 months, but it can only participate in competitions during the first 6 years of its life. The female Burông Tité is such a temperamental star that she sometimes refuses to hatch her eggs, and the male pecks her to death to punish her. It is therefore preferable to entrust the precious eggs to a rustic wet nurse, the Java dove, Streptopelia chinensis tigrina, the same that is used for the capture of the wild birds. Buro trains his tenors by encouraging them with gestures and with his voice. birds are attached to their master and answer to him. Readers and amateurs gather together for the village training tournament. This one is important, since the big competition at Yala will take place in a few weeks. Boroheng appreciates taking part. Moreover, it is here at these local jousts that he learnt of the value of his dove under the judgment of other friendly competitors. The Bomo Mare, renowned shaman, is also here, keen to help his friend. His presence will undoubtedly be beneficial, both for the song of Boroheng's bird and for the hopes he holds for winning the competition. Another extremely important character in the district is Kamnan Roning, the sheriff. Not only does he represent political power, but he has won many competitions. He explains the subtleties of the Burông Tite's song and the judgment criteria. The bird's song, Kumi, the beginning of the song, the initial ku. The bird's song, Tengo, the middle part of the song. The bird's song, Ujong, the end of the song. The complete song, opening, cuckoo, the middle section, the end. There are 3 types of voice, no, 4 voices. That's not very beautiful, no. Beautiful songs have 3, 4, or even 5 cuckoos. The best being 4 cuckoos. A song with 3 cuckoos. A song with 4 cuckoos. A song with 5 cuckoos. Even these small training competitions need judges. Certain birds, normally good singers, are lazy this morning. It's necessary to encourage them, to know how to start them singing. Boroheng's bird is a real diva. It looks like being the winner again today. Boroheng is proud, but he gives nothing away. Watch out, siwo, a bird of prey. Everyone's on the lookout. The frightened doves have little safety in their fragile cages made of rattan. The danger has passed. The training session is over. Boroheng is the winner. He begins to believe in Yala. After the effort, Boroheng and the other bird owners do not forget to thank their birds. It's time to go home for the evening meal and for the great prayer held each Friday. Here, doves are not alone in singing from the top of their bamboo minarets. It is 6 o'clock in the evening. It's the time of communal prayer, Mengore, in the old wood surah, the ancient mosque. Boroheng can pray with serenity. If his bird sings as he expects, his dream may become reality. In Patani, don't the imams say that the song of the Burông Tité reproduces a profession of faith from the Quran? As a small breeder, Boroheng needs the backing of the district sheriff, Kamnan Roning, happy owner of expensive birds that win many contests. As the Jawi tradition requires, the notability must look after their vassals. This will enable Boroheng to participate at the Yala contests and to meet some of the rich dove breeders that Roning knows. An essential condition for those aspiring to enter the very close circle of important dove breeders. Roning takes Boroheng to visit some of them, taking the precaution of protecting himself with his armed guards in order to avoid any problem on the way. The region is not safe. There are many highway robbers, and these birds are expensive. Through the years, the Jawi have developed a reputation for supplying the best doves in the whole of Southeast Asia. Those that possess the finest song. As wild doves have become increasingly rare, the Jawi started breeding them in the 60s in real dove stud farms, and thus producing potential winners by severe selection and patient crossbreeding. Mezzo is one of the most important breeders in Patani. Scarce with words, he flees interviews. But the cameraman is a friend. Several of his 600 birds are worth more than 500,000 bahts, the money of Thailand. Here, the value of an egg is 50,000 bahts, the equivalent of $10,000. How long have you been set up here and rich? It's been just 2 years, the same time for becoming a renowned breeder, and I installed my cages. With the birds, you don't get bored. It's fascinating. Mezzo won his fortune just with his singing doves. This quiet man doesn't show off his success, but he possesses a passion and a true love for his doves, and above all has an excellent ear to guide him in his choices for crossbreeding. Breeding doves, from the point of view of difficulty, it's easy. From the point of view of ease, it's difficult. But whatever it is, I know how to do it. If the birds are expensive, their cages are also costly. 5,000 bahts for the simplest, 150,000 bahts for the most beautiful, with mother of pearl, ivory, ebony, or gold. In this princely cage, with a mother of pearl top and a gold hook in the form of a dragon, is Mezzo's stud. He's worth more than 1 million bahts. For Yala, Burong has decided to buy a new cage. The best craftsman is in Yaring, more than 70 kilometers from Burong's village. Here, he's lost for choice. For birds with a tenor voice, one needs a cage with the form of an elephant foot. For the baritones, it must have a bell-shaped form, similar to that of the fruit of the kemuting tree. For the doves with a low-pitched song, the cage must be pot-bellied. Burong needs a kemuting cage because his bird is a baritone with a medium song. Patani, the manufacturer of dove cages, true objects of art, covered with precious silks and enhanced with gems, has been greatly influenced by Siamese culture. How much is this cage? The great day has come. The singing competition of Yala opens this morning. As agreed, Kamnan has organized everything. Such a gathering of notability poses a security risk that the authorities don't underestimate. In fact, the South has been the base for guerrillas for several years. An intelligent government policy of pardon for repented rebels has considerably improved the situation since the beginning of the 90s. Thousands of birds will compete during the 3 days of the Yala Zebra Dove Festival. For the competitions, each participant drops his ticket into an urn. The lottery makes everybody dream of winning, because amongst the many prizes are gold necklaces and even a car. The doves love singing in the trees. It's for this reason that the Jawi have tried to reconstitute their favorite habitat. Here they sing from a forest of perches, formerly in bamboo and now in aluminium, as they carry the sound better. They're also useful for the judges, who must isolate the song of one bird after another and not get lost in this cacophony. Each participant posts up the stamp certifying his inscription and hoists up his bird to the crown of one of the 2,000 perches strewn across the grounds of this enchanted tournament. Bird lovers and participants come from all over Indochina, from Bangkok, Singapore, Hong Kong, the Sultanate of Brunei, Indonesia, and Malaysia. The Yala contest is important because most of the expensive singing doves in Southeast Asia come from this region of Thailand. The connoisseurs are mainly rich Chinese who acquire the birds in exchange for fortunes, having taken on the belief of the ancient Malay concerning these magical doves that bring happiness. In Thailand today, when one is rich, it is a sign of taste to display one's singing doves, just as others would show off their racehorses, diamonds, or even their Ferrari. Which bird will you compete with today? With a Class A bird, the bass voice category, the most valuable. Where does your bird come from? From one of my crossbreeds. Is that your bird in the red cage? Yes, it's worth 800,000 bahts. Friend Roning asks one of the biggest dove owners in Thailand, who lives in Bangkok and possesses tons of birds with a value ranging from 100,000 to 800,000 bahts, for his impressions of Yala. He often wins and has become well known. Despite this notoriety, he remains modest. He says that he gains great pleasure from listening to his birds. For certain people, it is music that they like. For him, it is the song of the doves, a passion as much as a difficult art. The referees, kamake, always in an uneven number, assess each bird on the pitch, the intensity, the force, and the tessitura of the song, which the Jawi name the water of the song. Above all, they judge the number of cuckoos and their clarity. These judges are selected for their ornithological knowledge and for their excellent ear. They're respected and do not enter into competition anymore, as they are often former participants. As for the breeders, they avoid judging so as to avoid offending their potential clients. There is another reason that throws light on this extraordinary passion for songbird contests and explains the enormous sums of money invested in this activity. Betting is forbidden by the Thai government and also by the religious authorities, to protect players that hardly know how to limit themselves, up to the point of losing everything. However, these courteous jousts of dove song enable the prohibition to be bypassed. This passion for birds is not considered gambling by the authorities. As for the other participants, half confident, half anxious, Burong waits hopefully for the decision of the referees. That's it. The decision has been reached. The happy winner is Huang Chom, a Chinese Malaysian.
I live in Malaysia.
I come from Johor Bahru in Malaysia. I have a lot of luck to have won.
Today, result.
The melody of my bird is extremely beautiful, a golden voice.
You sing a lot, and the melody very good. Golden tenor.
The prizes will be given to the winners as soon as Pua Rachakan Changwat Yala, the governor of the Yala province, has arrived. The mayor of Yala takes advantage of the occasion to announce his wishes in a speech that is as brief as it is solemn. This contest should become more and more famous. If the grand winner receives his prize, he's not alone. Consolation prizes are also distributed to numerous participants. Burong hasn't won the grand contest, but he is, however, satisfied. His bird has been noticed by many visitors, both well-known breeders and rich bird lovers. Not only does he have a chance of winning next year, and not only has he gained face in his region, but he can also sell his bird for a good price, as he had planned. Instead of carrying off the cup, Burong has taken back a name, which is much more important. A rich merchant has offered to buy his bird, seduced by the beauty of its song and by the price that is still affordable. Burong has, therefore, if he wishes, the funds necessary to build the breeding farm of his dreams. The next morning, Burong has reached a decision. In order to thank the chance that has fallen upon him, to make the future more favorable, and to liberate his heart from the tension of the last weeks, he's going to release two of his most prized birds. As with the Chris, a man and a woman, the rice spirit and his guardian spirit, the birds go in pairs. Here's the male, here's the female. Here's the male. They are the children of CNRS, the bird of paradise, the snake Chitomani, and the golden dove Burong Tité Kuning, the elder child and the younger child. But the ceremony would not be complete without the final act, the ritual of release, the purifying act above all. Lepa, untying. In this way, the Jawi undo spells, a liberating fantasia, such as during the circumcision of boys or after the birth of a child. The birds are safe. Borohang can enlarge his bird breeding farm, and the gods are content.